before we get to a podcast with Ryan O'Neill and Brent Tobler from Denver, Colorado. But before that happens, obviously I know a lot of you are feeling uneasy, anxious, fearful even of what's going on in the Ukraine with Russia right now. And in these uncertain times, I found that most people go to the source they can trust for these things, which is the stand-up comedians. They turn to us to help understand the truth and help guide people through these tough times. And so, as a stand-up comedian, I'd like to explain to you what's going on there in the Ukraine. It's not what you think. It's not what's been fed to you. They tell you that Voldemort Putin is trying to take over the world. He's threatening nuclear retaliation for any interference. Putting the United States, China in a head-to-head conflict to see who will be the superpower and maybe will end all life on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not true. That's the mainstream media. The story of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine dates back a long time ago to February of 2022 in Beijing, China. Specifically, the Olympics. Specifically, even more specifically, to the men's aerial freestyle event, in which a Chinese citizen named, let me find this here, Guy Gongpu, easily beat out the next two contenders. Now, those next two contenders are where this whole story begins. It's a rivalry that dates back a few years. Maybe let's call it 9 years for argument's sake. Between one Ilya Burov from the Russian Federation of States and so forth such, and Alexander Abramenko from, you guessed it, the University of Crane. Now, they went head-to-head in that men's aerial freestyle skiing event, in case you're wondering. And Abramenko barely beat out Burov. Barely beat him out, embarrassing him in front of a mostly communist, capitalist communist, nonetheless communist state of China. Now, Voldemort Putin was watching that day and couldn't quite take it. Couldn't quite take this young Ukrainian upstart laughing in the face of everything the Russians believe, which is that they are the second best country to China, not the Ukraine. And the Ukraine got in the way of that. Voldemort was seething while he watched the podium. Seething at seeing his guy at the shortest podium. Voldemort himself was only 5'7". This brought up many issues from childhood and so forth. After that, it was a no-brainer. Attack Ukraine from all fronts, start at Kiev, which is a city, and move forward until you find this man, this Alexander, no E at the R, it's just Alexander, Abramenko, find him and have a rematch for the men's aerial freestyle silver medal. Burov was part of the invasion. He led the 13th Battalion. They did quite well, advanced, murdered many parents, so forth, so on. I think they burned a village to the ground. And the point is, he got deep inside, all the way to the mountains in Ukraine, where he was waiting to have this rematch. Now, what was not expected was the cowardice of Abramenko. Hiding, afraid to put his silver medal on the line in exchange for a possible bronze. Do you remember Saturday Night Fever? Do you remember that? Do you remember what what's his name did? The dude from Pulp Fiction, the gay one. Remember? He won that fucking dance contest, and he said, "Nah, it's not fair. Those spics, not my words. Travolta's, that's his name. Those spics were better than us, and it was only racism that kept them from getting first place medal." And so what he did was he went over there with his first place money, and he put it right in the Latino people's heads. When I'm describing it's Latino people's, he said that word. He put it right in their hands. And he said, "You deserve to win." Now, as a Jew, the whole time I was thinking, well, at least take back the second place money. You just gave them your first place money. You exchange with them. Don't just give them both. It's one of the inconsistencies of that movie. Also, there's many rapes. Watch it again. You'll remember. And Abramenko would not defend and put on the line his silver medal for the men's aerial freestyle. And so Putin said, "I'm not pulling out." And America's like, you got to leave them alone. They go, no, it's not happening. I point every nuclear arsenal I have at you, United States, at you too, China, even at you, Ireland. And those are the only 3. Until Abraменko comes out of hiding and defends his fucking title. And that's all that's going on. This is not something that should concern you. This won't result in nuclear weaponry being used. Don't worry about it. Go back to your regular lives, worrying about what your friend's doing on vacation. If a comedian is tweeting the wrong thing, go back to your normal stuff. This doesn't concern you. You don't even watch men's aerial freestyle. It went fucking Chinese, Ukrainian, Russian. It's not our event. Don't even worry about it. Get back to your normal day. Get back to listening to great stuff like Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank podcast. That was the episode, everybody. Since the introduction, I did some research. I found out I was a bit wrong on what's causing the Ukrainian situation. I'd like to apologize. I'm sorry to the people who were most affected by this. I've seen protests in the streets of New York, the yellow and blue flag. Only 2 colors because Ukraine is a poor country and that's all they can afford. And I've become aware of the suffering that's happening with the Ukrainian people. And it was wrong of me to say it was because of the men's aerial freestyle skiing competition in Beijing, China at the Olympics. It was taking lightly what is a very serious situation. Just because I hadn't read the news doesn't mean I had the right to make light of it. And anyway, I've talked to some protesters, and what was going on it's borscht. The Russians believe they invented borscht, and the Ukrainians were saying that they invented borscht. Most Americans are saying, who even cares? One of the blandest soups in the world. You literally put sour cream. It's cold. It's not tasty in any way, but these are the things that matters to Voldemort. And above all, I would like to say that Russia, if you continue after Ukraine taking over country, taking down and hacking our defense system, sending ground troops in here to a country that's been befuddled by hackers. People turn on each other all the time. It would be the best time to invade. And if you do, and if you need someone to assist you on the ground, I can do that. Russia, I have access to many comedians. I know who they are. I can get the word out, saying not to badmouth Voldemort. I can be a valued asset to you is what I'm saying. Russia, I believe in your dominance. I believe you will be victorious in the end. And I'm Ari Shaffir. This is Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank podcast. I believe it can be an outlet for you to get the word out on certain things. It would help my ratings if I had direct contact to the Kremlin and was able to get words out for them. Propaganda, perhaps, what's it called? When you herding in prisoners, I can help that. I went to report. I assume the trains will start running again, whether for Jews or just dissidents in general. I've been willing to help in any way I can is my point. So I think, I'm serious. Russia, I hope you get the USSR back and don't do the silly Russia thing. We all know you're stronger than that. And for Brent Tobler and Ryan O'Neill, I'm saying don't forget to check out my Patreon with Ryan O'Neill's on there. Patreon.com/Ari Shaffir. Don't forget to subscribe. And for both those guys, I'd like to say this has been Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank podcast, episode 460. The Denver Chronicles, Do Svidanya, and however you say bye in Russian. I will learn that in many more words with Duolingo or just through general torture techniques of learning languages through the onset torture. I found to be the best for learning in quick situations. Again, I'm Ari Shaffir, and now you know.